It's just the idioms, the Jeff Buckley idioms, the things that he does with his voice. I don't really hear many other singers make these decisions. It's just the musical decisions he makes are so distinct.
Love, let me sleep tonight on your couch and remember the smell of the fabric of your simple city dress.
To get this tone is so hard. So he's got a high larynx. Lord, let me sleep tonight on your couch. But he's also got the very small lips, a very small opening, warms up the tone, and then he's also using a thyroid tilt to make it not sound so weak. And a thyroid tilt has a lot of warmth, so if I did just a straight tone with a high larynx, Lord, let me sleep tonight on your couch, which is not at all what he's doing, is Lord, let me sleep tonight on your couch, right? It's just that tilt adds that little bit of warmth. And I'm breaking into falsetto because my voice is not as high as his. He has a very, very high voice, just naturally.
And remember the smell of the fabric of your simple city dress. Oh, that was so real.
And that's not falsetto either. That's not it. Where's my phone? Here. Oh, so I think that's an A natural. It's a high B. That's a B. And he just floats it, and it's not falsetto. That's just like a really good mix. And this is what I mean by he has a very naturally high voice. You can learn all the technique you want from Jeff Buckley, but unless you have one of these freaky, really high voices, you're not going to be able to get that sound on such a high note. Like whenever I've been trying to mimic Jeff Buckley for years. He's one of my vocal heroes. And this particular sound when he goes this high up is just, you have that or you don't. And it's really frustrating because he has that and I don't. Nice little run there. I don't know where he learned, maybe it's from his dad, who had a very similar voice to him. And it's just the idioms, the Jeff Buckley idioms, the things that he does with his voice. I don't really hear many other singers make these decisions. It's just the musical decisions he makes are so distinct. The way that he does that run is so him.
We walked around till the moon got full like a plate. And the wind blew an invocation, but I fell asleep at the gate. Stepped on the cracks cause I knew I'd leave my mother.
And he also, like, it's interesting when he changes his vowels, it's very subtle. So if you go this is the beginning of the song, Lord, let me sleep tonight on your couch, right? So if I brighten my vowels there, like he just did, Lord, let me sleep tonight on your couch. When he does it, it doesn't sound that drastic, even though the face he's making and the vowel changes he's making should be drastic, but it's really subtle.
And I never stepped on the cracks cause I knew I'd leave my mother.
You can see that there's still the bright to dark. And I never stepped on the cracks cause I thought I'd hurt my mother. Like, mother is softer and is brighter. But the reason it's not a drastic change is that if you look at how open his mouth is, that doesn't change.
And I never stepped on the cracks tracks, 'cause I knew I'd leave my mother.
Right? Like, it's the same, obviously the consonants, he's closing for the consonants, but aside from that, the vowels are the same vocal size. And so his changes are very subtle, but still there. I don't know anybody who does that like that other than him. I don't know. I've never heard another singer. It's always like, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to Jeff Buckley's idioms. I've never heard anybody even do that other than him. I've heard people sustain really soft notes. I've heard people change their vowels as they're sustaining really soft notes. But the freedom and elegance in which he navigates it, it's just so, it lends itself to this ethereal effect that a lot of his music has, because it's so smooth and gentle, and it's like a lilting flower. It's so distinct. It's haunting.
I love you.
And then he goes into that. I think his songwriting is also amazing. I'm gonna gush.
But I'm afraid to love you.
It's so hard to tell when he's in falsetto versus when he's not. So falsetto gives itself away with that flute tone because there's air escaping. Ooh, you can hear that little hiss. Ooh. There's a lot of air escaping when you do falsetto, and it gives that hiss sound. There's no hiss sound here. So is he in a mix? Is he in a falsetto? And the answer to that question is both. People think falsetto is an on and off switch. It's not. So if you have the vocal folds together like this, I need to make sure this image is visible. Yeah, if you have the vocal folds together like this, so this is, falsetto can be fully flipped or part of it can be flipped, right? So I can have this flipped, I can have this much vocal connection. The folds can be this put together, and that's still the rest of that is falsetto, right? So very rarely is it like this. Almost never is it like this with him. There's always some connection, which is why we don't get a lot of hiss from him when he goes up. So good. So I really wouldn't recommend trying that, what he just did. That grindy tone is really, really inefficient to sing with, and if done forcefully can cause vocal damage. The reason it doesn't is that he is just such a high set voice that for him it's not really that dramatic to go up that high. And so he can add these inefficiencies. And I think I've already made the parallel with Gerard Way. If I haven't, the singer of My Chemical Romance has also got an incredibly high voice. Fact, if you look at a lot of rock singers singing live, they're usually not able to do what they can do on the studio album. That counts for the singer of Offspring. That counts for David Grohl, as much as I respect both of those musicians. That counts for Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots and Velvet Revolver. These singers had a hard time doing what was on the studio album because, you know, they can have as many takes as they want. They can do drastic things, take an hour break, and then do it again. But Jeff Buckley and Gerard Way are one of those weird corner cases where, because their voice is actually that high, they can do a lot of these really grindy things. And as much as I love Gerard Way and respect him as an artist, Jeff Buckley is just by far the better singer because there's so much going on. And it sounds, the only other person that sounds like this is I think it's Tim Buckley is his dad. It's so weird. It's such a weird, distinct, unique voice that he has. That dynamic control is insane. He's always been an anomaly to me, and I love his singing, I always have.